Okay, welcome everybody. I am very nervous of this microphone, so I am just letting it set right here. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, super. So, good afternoon. Welcome to our annual Moon Poetry Reading. I'm Jackie Crawford. I'm secretary of the Burke Branch Friends. That's a nonprofit that helps raise money for events and supplies for this library. I'm really happy we're all gathered here today. Now more than ever, we need shared spaces like this where everyone is welcome. It's a pleasure to introduce Zeina Azzam, Alexandria's Poet Laureate. She's a poet, a writer, an editor, and a community activist. She's also a mother, a grandmother, and a daughter. To attend a Zeina Azzam poetry reading is to enter into the tender places in our lives. She writes of home, of family, of food. She writes of belonging, of justice, of injustice, and of inequality. She writes about the in-between places in our lives and straddling two worlds. I think she helps us see that our in-between places can become shared spaces that we carve out together. Zeina brings people together, like the moon brings us together, in peace and awe of its quiet light and gentle beauty. So, now, please welcome Zeina Azzam and Poetry of the Moon.
That was such a lovely introduction. Thank you so much. I'm very, very touched. Thank you. Okay, so I need to be away from that piece, so I'm going to stand over here. I'm so happy to be here today and to welcome you all to our third annual multicultural and multilingual poetry reading and that I host at the Alexandria Library. The first one we did 2 years ago at Beatley Library, and then last year we did it here at Burke Branch, and then the synergy here was so wonderful that we decided to do it again. And I hope beyond the end of my Poet Laureate tenure that I can keep doing this, even if I'm not a Poet Laureate. That would be really awesome. So my tenure actually ends next month, and so we will be welcoming the new Poet Laureate as of April 1st. I am so glad that so many of you made it today so that we can read and listen to poetry together. And so much thanks to Carolyn Pack, to Jackie and Francis and Jean McKean, Nancy Porter, so many people at Burke Branch Library and Burke Branch Friends for graciously organizing our event and offering us the opportunity to celebrate our many cultures and languages in Alexandria and beyond Alexandria. And I'd like also to recognize the work of the Alexandria Office of the Arts, which is my home organization as Poet Laureate. So as you can see, we're video recording this event, and if any of you who want to read don't want to be on video, we're very sensitive about this, just let us know, and we'll turn off the camera while you read. And so how wonderful, I have all these things that I've written that I want to make sure I say, so bear with me. How wonderful it is to have different languages showcased in our program today with the theme of the moon. So thank you for answering our invitation to come and read in English and in other languages. There's a clipboard that's going around. I think everybody has had the opportunity to sign it if you're interested in reading. And if you miss it somehow, I'll make sure to ask again if you would like to read. So I think we're good. So you can put it on the chair here, Rob. That's okay. Thank you. As you know, following the phases of the moon has been important to humankind for millennia. The religions of Buddhism, Hinduism, Judaism, and Islam, among others, use the lunar calendar. And with Islam, it's used exclusively, in particular to determine the beginning of Ramadan, the month of fasting, which this year started on February 28th and goes on to March 29th. So let me wish a Ramadan Mubarak to our Muslim sisters and brothers. And today's also International Women's Day, which is a great convergence. The United Nations website says that this year's theme is, quote, "For all women and girls, rights, equality, empowerment." So I hope we will hear many poems by women poets today, too. And I will start with some words by a woman writer. This is not a poem, it's just a short quote. So I came across this wonderful paragraph by the writer Sophie Dillard. She writes, quote, "Wherever we are in the world, we see the same moon. It's the same moon earliest humans would have seen, waxing and waning, rising and setting. Depending on where we were thousands of years ago, we would look to a full moon, to mark time, to tell us when to plant corn, when to lay the rice to dry, and when to expect ducks back. Now we look to the moon and marvel that men have traveled there in unlikely contraptions and actually set foot on its surface. It's our stepping stone to the vast universe, and looking at a full moon can make us feel very small and very young. But it can also remind us to make the most of our time here on Earth, to pop corn and throw rice and watch for ducks." Unquote. So in terms of literary and romantic writing, mythology, and storytelling, the moon is also viewed in many different ways: as a witness to events, as a wise guide in darkness, both literally and metaphorically, as an all-seeing, omniscient observer, as a betrayer, as inspiring love, as inspiring lunacy, especially because of unrequited love, or as dictating changes that are out of our control. Think of our mythological werewolf, whose beast-like qualities are believed to come out on the night of the full moon. Of course, the moon also has a scientific role to play in our lives. It's 1/4 of the size of the Earth, and so it's 1/4 the size of the Earth in width. And so it has a gravitational pull on the Earth that, of course, affects the tides. So there is just so much to say about the moon, and much more than I've said already. So I'd like to kick us off with 2 short poems, and I'll be reading them in English because one is in Greek, and a Greek poem, and one is a Chinese poem, and I don't know either language. But they are part of our global poetic heritage. The first is by the Greek Sappho, titled "Tonight I've Watched." Sappho was a poet from the island of Lesbos in ancient Greece in the 6th century BCE. She wrote in the first person and was not afraid to include personal and emotional themes. And her poetry was considered revolutionary at the time. So this is what she writes. "Tonight I've watched the moon and then the Pleiades go down. The night is now half gone. Youth goes. I am in bed alone." Very short. The second poem is by a Chinese poet whose name is Chang Zhou-Su, who lived in the 7th and 8th centuries of the Common Era. It's titled "A Poet Looks at the Moon." I hear a woman singing in my garden, but I look at the moon in spite of her. I have no thought of trying to find the singer singing in my garden. I am looking at the moon. And I think the moon is honoring me with a long silver look. I blink as bats fly across the ray. And when I raise my head, the silver look is still upon me. The moon delights to make eyes of poets her mirror, and poets are many as dragon scales on the moonlit sea. Isn't that beautiful? So now I would like to start our community reading and invite people to come up and read. I know we sent around a sign-up sheet. So when you come up here, first of all, let me know if you don't want to be on camera. That's the first thing. But give us your name. Tell us what city and state you live in, because we're so many different states here. And the language you read in, if it's not just English. It's fine to just read in English, but we love to hear other languages as well. And if you are reading a poem not in English, I would ask you to read the English first so that people hear what it is that you're going to be reading about, so they have an idea as you're reading it in your language. So yeah, that's just pretty much what I wanted to say. So let me get the... I guess I'll go with how the sign-up went, and so that would mean that Neil Lerner would be first. Welcome, Neil.
I don't think I need that, yes.
Okay.
So thanks. I'm Neil Lerner, and I live in Alexandria. And just a small plug, I host a monthly poetry reading at the Delray St. Elmo's. So it's the first Friday of every month. So if any of you want to join us, we had one last night. First Friday of the month at St. Elmo's from 7 to 9. And I am going to read a poem that it's actually from a song that I wrote. I'm a songwriter as well. It's called Caught in the Moonlight. Sun shines on my head. I bask in its rays. I start turning red. Still I love those summer days. But when I'm feeling cool and everything's all right, I know where I am, babe. I'm caught in the moonlight. Caught in the moonlight where my dreams take flight, a beacon to pull me in the starry night. Where it will take me, I only can guess. It's out of sight. Days are for action, running on sunbeams. At the beach we are splashing with laughter and screams. But when the sun finally sets and the dark fills the sky, that's when I await the big moon to rise. Caught in the moonlight where my dreams take flight, a beacon to pull me in the starry night. Where it will take me, I only can guess. It's my delight. Nights are for dreaming, round campfires with singing, stars up on high, chasing fireflies. There's magic in the moon. When it waxes and wanes, no one's immune. It pulls in the tide. It has a dark side. It makes you swoon. You can't avert your gaze when you see it pass through every phase. Its power over us, you just can't fight. Caught in the moonlight. Looking for something new under the sun, but over the moon, up there it's more fun. My mind starts to wander. Imagination ignites. That's when I know, baby, I'm caught in the moonlight. Home.
Thank you, Neil. And the Delray monthly gathering that Neil mentioned is really wonderful. So those of you who are interested in hearing a lot of poetry and reading your own poetry, Neil Lerner and former poet laureate Wendy Kaplan organize it every month. So thank you for doing that, and I definitely encourage everybody to come. So our next reader is Qasim Mahdi. Please.
Okay, my name is Qasim Hamadi. I live in Stafford, Virginia, and I'm an art lover, novice, hobbyist writer, if you will. And thanks to Zeina's encouragement and support and the kind invitation, I'm right here today. So thank you. Be like the moon. If you cannot be a radiant sun, nor a dazzling star, then be like the moon, suspended deep in the sky, unleashing its silent cry into the endless void. Far-fetched, you say? Then be a slap on the face of fate. Be a lover, a rebel, or a molten iron. Be what you will, my friend, for you are not some hidden shadow. You are everything. You are the bricks, the stone, the lilies of spring, and their nectar you are. You are my grandfather's cane and the downpour of rain. You are everything and all the nothingness you are. But fear not, my dear, for this is not a blasphemy. Take another sip from your aching cup. Wrap your wounds in the smoke of another cigarette. Reassure those you love. Tell them you're not returning, that you are still chasing the spring of youth across barren, forsaken lands. And that beacon, shattered deep within your heart, gather its wreckage and cast it into the vastness of sea. For water is pure, ever flowing, and creation never ceases. If you cannot be a moon, then be moons. Be a world, no, a galaxy, then create other galaxies. You were born in sorrow, so steal a moment of joy. Create something, anything that makes you happy, even if only for a fleeting second. As for the pictures, shatter them, smash them, only the mirror you spare. Ignore the color, for all creation is bound to perish. Walk every path on earth, if dark, be a greater darkness. Devour it, then shine upon it with the blazing sun of your soul. I'm going to read it in Arabic. كن كالقمر إن لم تكن شمسا مشرقة أو نجما لامعا فكن كالقمر عالق في كبد السماء مطلقا صيحته الصماء إلى اللانهاية وإن لم تستطع فكن صفعة في وجه القدر كن عاشقا أو مارقا كن حديدا منصهر كن ما تريد يا صديقي فأنت لست ضميرا مستتر كل الأشياء أنت الطوب والحجر أنت زنابق الربيع وأنت رحيقها أنت عكاز جدي أنت مطر منهمر أنت كل شيء وكل لا شيء أنت ولا تخف يا عزيزي فهذا ليس كفر خذ رشفة أخرى من كأسك الموجوع وضمد جراحك بسيجارة ثانية طمن من تحب قل لهم إنك لست بعائد وإنك لا زلت تبحث عن ربيع العمر في أرض بور خاوية وتلك المنارة التي كسرت في عمق قلبك لملم حطامها والق به في عباب البحر فالماء طهر طاهر وهو خلق مستمر إن لم تكن قمرا فكن أقمارا أو عالما لا بل فلكا ثم اخلق أفلاكا ثانية خلقت تعيسا يا سعيدي يا صديقي فاسعد لوهلة وقم بخلق شيئا تهنأ به لثواني أما الصور حطمها واترك المرآة ولا تلتفت للمنادي فالخلائق فانية سر في دروب الأرض وإن كانت مظلمة كن ظلمة كبرى التهمها ثم اشرق عليها بشمس روحك الحامية.
That was beautiful in both Arabic and English. Thank you so much. I love if you can't be a moon, then be many moons. That's so lovely. Our next reader is Betty Jo Middleton.
I live in Alexandria, and I'm going to read in Southern accented English.
That's a different language.
First, a haiku. Tall trees stretch upward as if to leave earth behind, reaching for the moon. And now, excuse me, moon over miasma. Miasma, noxious atmosphere or influence. So, moon over miasma. Though enveloped in a fog of deep despair, know that Earth's steadfast sister, moon, still casts a light over all. Her glow is not diminished. Her scope is unconstrained. Even on the darkest night, know that moon's bright globe will shine again in the fullness of time.
Thank you, Betty Jo. It's been so nice. It's been so nice to be with you all these 3 years. You've come to several of the events that I've organized and the workshops, so it's really nice to have you with us again. The next reader is Kim Harvey.
Hi, I live in Arlington, Virginia, and I also last month attended the reading at at St. Elmo's, and I can say that it was wonderful. And I wanted to go last night, but my introversion got the better of me. So yeah, but I will be back. Okay, I messed something up. Okay. I just wanted to apologize in advance because I tried to convey the how universal the moon is, and how it connects us all through many cultures. And so there are some bits of language woven in that are not English that I know I'm going to butcher. So just my apologies in advance. And a few acknowledgments, because there are some phrases throughout here from other poets' poems about the moon. So I just wanted to list those briefly so that you could all check them out if you wanted to. There's something from Moonset by Carl Sandburg. The Moon Was But a Chin of Gold by Emily Dickinson. Ode to a Naked Beauty by Pablo Neruda. Autumn by T.E. Holm. Testimony by Joseph Fassino. And I'm Over the Moon by Brenda Shaughnessy. There's also a quote from Anton Chekhov. And then the last line of the poem is from something that inspired me to write the whole thing, which is this beautiful quote attributed to the Japanese novelist Natsume Soseki, which is something like, Tsuki ka kirei desu ne, which translates to, the moon is beautiful, isn't it? Or a more poetic way of saying, I love you. And I don't usually write concrete poems, but this one is in the shape of a crescent moon. All right. We need to talk about the moon. Aruna, moon love in Japanese. Worm moon, moon of the popping trees. Wind-strong moon, its ancient pull, ebb and flow, rhythm of time. Mahina, Sasi, Mona, Luna. What is the moon's true color? Just ask the moon. Purple, blue, black, pink moon. Lunacy, dark, listening to dark. The glint of light on broken glass. Moonquake, Moonrise, moon sets. Wolf, stone, buck, strawberry, sturgeon. Chin of gold, her silver will. Moon as goddess, brother, grandmother, rabbit, deer. Linus, Badru, Vikesh, Aku, dot dash, the moon in Morse code. Signing the moon. Fingers curved into a crescent at eye level, then rising. Falling, eclipsing, orbiting, Selene, Diana, Artemis, Kamar, little hunger, big hunger, Alkmene, might of the moon. Mani, a Norse god, Sanskrit for pearl. Digging, scratching moon, mating moon. Where was the moon born? Jericho, city of the moon. From amorphous gas and dust, molten rock. From the ether, howling. Where does the moon live? Under your skin, pouring itself out of you. Blood moon, menarche, menses, menopause, seducer of the sun. That drifter, the world's worst lover. Ruddy moon, a red-faced farmer. Moody, pock-marked teen going through a phase. Moon of chums, of the coho, of gathering seaweed, of children, of the elders. Promise me, say it. Sugar moon, honeymoon, to the moon and back. Suki kakire dasune, look. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. I think you covered everything. That was beautiful. That was so lovely. I know we have a couple more people who have come in. We have a sign-up sheet if you would like to sign up. Oh, wait, but I need to see who's the next person. It's my pleasure to introduce my friend Ida. You're next. Oh, are you? Did you? Oh, it's not. Okay. You just want to attend. That's totally fine too. Thank you. And Marie Wells. And there you are. Welcome.
Hi everyone, I'm Anne Marie. It's a pleasure to be back. If you were here last year, then you might have remembered me being massively 9 months pregnant at the time. And I did actually come with my partner and my baby, but he fell asleep in the car, so they're still out there. We didn't want to wake him up and risk him being fussy. So I keep looking to see, like, oh, is that going to be them? But alas, he's still asleep in the car. But they might make an appearance later. So I'm going to read 2 poems. One's a haiku written centuries ago by Mizuta Masahide. And then I wrote a golden shovel poem using that haiku as the last word of each line. So if you're not familiar with the golden shovel, it's a poetic form that uses some other phrase or poetic line from another poem or song lyric or something as the last word of each line, and so there's kind of a hidden message in your poem. So the haiku is, my barn having burned to the ground, I can now see the moon. And this is my poem. I'll try to emphasize the last word of each line. Thank the heavens, I packed up the Subaru, clothes wedged between my boxes and dog, remembering how I once lived in a pony barn and loved it, back when Wyoming was home, before having uprooted all that I knew for love, a love that burned my sternum with its acid, its acrid taste, leaving my mouth to flail in salt. I wept 2,600 miles to the half-smoked city in April until the cherry blossom confetti painted across the ground asked me if I would join in their celebration. I scooped a handful, grateful I could still be grateful while eating black olives straight from the can for dinner. I look into my 6-month-old son's face, that is half my face now, almost 3 years after leaving LA. He laughs like a pig squeals, and I see his father, my forever love, in his mouth, his brow, the dimple in his chin. And he has 2 more from me, one in each of his cheeks, as round as the moon. Thank you. And I also have a small plug that if you are interested in learning how to write a golden shovel or interested in seeing it demoed, on Sundays at 8 p.m. I do live poetic form demonstrations. Tomorrow is the golden shovel, and it's through my little Zoom show I called The Joy of Poeting. Like Bob Ross demonstrated how to make a painting, I demonstrate how to write a poem in these different poetic forms, and you can sign up. It's free or for a donation through my website, AnneMarieWellsWriter.com. If you type in Google, even if you spell my name right or wrong, it'll pop up, and then if you go to events, you can sign up through Eventbrite. So thank you.
Okay. So I remember you so well, Anne Marie. Where are you?
I'm right here.
From last year, being about to pop.
That's right.
That was lovely. So I'm happy to have you back, and I hope that we will see your baby.
Yeah, and he's almost 1 now
Great.
because I was that pregnant.
Yes.
Is the baby asleep or you're pregnant?
Maybe both. And his name's Orion, so it's like kind of space themed.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I love that.
Okay, so our next reader is Kim Peter Novak. Kovac, sorry. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Thank you. By the way, if you haven't read all of Zeina's poetry, her books are terrific, available at a bookstore near you, or a non-Amazon website. Okay. Okay, Zeina is allowing, my name's Kim Peter Kovac, I live in Alexandria, and Zeina is allowing me to fudge the rules a little bit. My poem is a pantoum, which is based on a Malaysian song form of repeating lines and stanzas, similar to the villanelle in English, but part of the point is the repetition of it. This poem is set in Wadi Rum, which is in Jordan, one of the most wonderful places on earth if you haven't seen it. Lawrence of Arabia, The Martian, Aladdin, and Dune were all filmed near there. And it's this wonderful place with red sand and these jagged sandstone cliffs. And the hoopoe that's mentioned is a mythic bird in the Middle East that sort of looks like that. Okay? Thank you. So this is called Red Dancing in Wadi Rum. Faint murmuration, words in ancient languages, counterpointing Aeolian sounds, wind dancing with red-bone DNA from the Valley of the Moon, Wadi Rum. Melange of jaggy sandstone and granite cliffs cradling Aeolian sounds, wind dancing in red-orange twilight. Chestnut-crested hoopoes oversaw the melange of jaggy sandstone and granite cliffs, brush-painted by sandy sun from dawn's blue hour through yellow-red twilight. Literate hoopoes limn myths from bees, boulders, and Bedouins in landscape sun-pulsed from civil dawn. Secrets within secrets reveal stories from bees, boulders, and Bedouins, tattooed on the bone scaffolding of Wadi Rum. Secrets within secrets translated from ancient tongues by whirling word murmuration. Thank you. And I didn't mention enough that Wadi Rum is called the Valley of the Moon, which is why I got away with this.
It fits, no problem.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kim.
Thank you.
Kim, I have to ask you, I went to see Sheer Madness last night, and I think I saw your name on the program that you had designed the set.
That design set 100 years ago.
Amazing.
Long time ago.
Wow. I was so surprised
Thank
to
you.
see that.
was
Wonderful.
For a fee, so I'm not getting royalties.
That's so great.
Yeah, it's
Thank
like
you.
30 years ago.
Yeah, but your name is still on the program.
Still running.
Thank you. A man of many talents. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Nathan, our next reader would like not to be on camera, so if you could turn that off. Okay, then our next reader is John Gilgoff. Welcome.
Hi everyone, I'm John Gilgoff. I live in Washington, D.C. For Women's Day, I want to dedicate this poem to my mom and to Zeina. My mom is a retired nurse and midwife. She's in the Peace Corps, and I guess qualities that I see in both my mom and Zeina are warmth and kindness, bringing people together, but also this really fierce courageousness to stand up for what's right and for social justice. So I use this as an opportunity. I came 2 years ago and read some poems, but that was my full moon poem arsenal. So I use this as an opportunity to write a new one and to learn a little bit more about the moon scientifically, and also the symbolism, which I knew because one of my last poems was the moon as like Earth Mother, midwife, but the moon also has symbolism of being a protector. So this one is called "O Mother Moon," which was sort of a song from a past cultural tradition. O Mother Moon. And this is a little bit about what's going on right now in our country and the world, whether the last couple of months or years, and how the moon might be taking it. O Mother Moon. The moon refused to take it, leaving the light to shine on a pile of unpassed batons, an ever-expanding mess. The moon hid any hints of water. Its dust drummed up circles, a ceremony to ward off lunatics sick with dreams of helium-3. The moon explored exiting the Earth's orbit for Neptune's. 3 billion miles buys time. Tide swelled as our head throbbed. The moons pulled the Solar System Security Council into emergency session. Man can defy reason, but they cannot defy gravity. Thank you.
We have so many accomplished poets here today. Everybody who's read, it's really wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your gifts with us. Thank you, John. Our next reader, and let me know if you don't want to be on camera, Sharon. Is it okay on camera? That's fine. Sharon Pratt, please come on up.
Hi, I'm Sharon Pratt. I'm from, I guess now Sterling, Virginia, but originally from Maryland. And I really feel all of our ancestors here with us today, everybody sharing. So I'm going to read something in that same light. Nothing about the moon, sorry. Let's see. Give me just one second. Okay, so the word, it's a phrase, padayatra, which is Sinhalese for the journey or the pilgrimage. And in Sri Lanka, there's a group of, indigenous tribe that travels all the way through the east side of the island. And some people join the pilgrimage, some people just watch it and think they're making a spectacle of themselves. And I am of mixed race. My mom is from Sri Lanka and my dad is from here. And I wrote this in kind of a, I'm going to join this pilgrimage, even though it's not really mine or I wasn't really there, but taking ownership of my ancestry. So 1 second. Okay. I waited for the mountain, but the mountain never came. So I sailed into the ocean, hoping that it wouldn't rain. The whales carried my message deep into the cave. I step in. Padayatra. My pilgrimage isn't in vain. I walk on the land to meet my fate. I stroll the road that my great-grandmother paved. My existence is a pact that these masters have made. Before my time, the genetic foundation was laid. So of course I'm protected. My lineage is my aid. I waited for the mountain. Of course it never came. This is my medicine that my ancestors gave. I was the mountain that my ancestors made. And then I have one other one that is a little more of my, I guess, rap, hip-hop background. I am Christ consciousness, flipping tables because God made me autonomous. Rebuke that spirit of greed because you're bottomless. It's like feeding a hungry ghost with a huge esophagus. Thought I have all this time to waste was so presumptuous. The game plan switched. Now who Nintendo'd this suddenness? Princess Peach with a mean underworld thunder kick. The boss is dead and I'm jumping the flag bags and other licks. Super magnetic lunk and drip. I am the truth dragon fire spit. My voice is pure fire hits. I'm hated for getting the party lit. I love because I hit the bottom pit. I know the edge of death, so I know how to comfort it. I am the goddess you've heard 100 myths, ancestral stories from your mother's lips. But I am embodiment. I am healing vibrations. You want an argument. If you're my bully, I take that as a compliment. I'll let you believe that makes you dominant. You can't replicate Holy Spirit confidence. Drop to your knees, you must repent. I am heaven sent. I'll die to myself and forgive your sins. But will that change who you're fucking with, stealing, cheating, and flunkying? I am Christ consciousness, flipping tables because God made me autonomous. Thank you.
Have lots of cough drops. Thank you, Sharon. And how important is it to be so proud of your culture and to want to delve and, feel your ancestry? That's wonderful. Our next reader is Abby Kelly.
Hi, I'm Abby. I didn't actually expect to read a poem today. I thought I was just going to be a listener, but I want to get out of my comfort zone a little bit more. So I'll read one I wrote a couple years ago. Okay. It's not quite about the moon, but it's about a girl who cried wolf. So there's something there. Okay. She who cried wolf. They scoff in disgust. She who cried wolf, no one can trust. Townspeople mutter, send her from her post. She's a fool, a nuisance, a joke. There to stroke our anger and make a fuss. Oh, how she must laugh. She beckons us to run home, safe from the wolves that never snarl, never growl, never even breathe. Leave. But lately, under the gaze of the moon, I wonder if she who cried wolf really did cry, if she did not laugh but writhe, did not sneak but shriek, did not lie but die, if she who cried wolf did not delude or deceive in fits of giggles, but sure in seeing wolves approach, tried to warn and wrench and wriggle free from the clutches of which we could not see.
Thank you, Abby, for sharing that with us. I hope your comfort zone is sort of expanding and getting, it's wonderful. Our next, Wafa?
Sorry, I'm from Afghanistan.
Oh, okay. Is it okay to have the camera? Is that okay?
Yeah, okay.
Would you come up here?
I cannot speak English good. I thought that you only had to write your name on this paper. Sorry. I joined it because I like the poetry reading program and the feature. If my English gets better, I want to join again.
Okay. Welcome. Thank you for your message to us. Let's see. The next is Ali Adish.
That's me.
That's you.
Yes.
Welcome, Ali.
Thank you for having me. It's wonderful to be here. I also went to the St. Elmo's last month.
Yes.
Amazing poets, so much creativity, and such a range of sort of more modern, easier to understand poems for the the non-writers among us who might struggle a little with making sense of some of the symbology and some of the poems. Anyway, so I, just this morning, I pulled this up. I also did not intend to read today, but I was inspired by just the program and the ability to bring in something that was non-English and share that with you all. So this is going to be a poem by Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi, who some of you may recognize that name. He's perhaps the most famous Persian poet, philosopher, mystic, but also jurist, scholar, and someone who continues to be, read by audiences, not just in the Persian world, but around the world. Most of his poems have been translated in many languages. And so today I thought about, whether to first do all the English and then the poem, but fortunately it's a short enough poem that I can go English and then Persian and then English and Persian. It's just 2 lines, although he's written it in 4, so maybe I think you can see it here. The script is beautiful, so see the English on the top and then the Persian below that. Rumi was born in Balkh, which is an area of, you can say, the Persian Empire. Balkh is in northern Afghanistan now, and Balkh is where my father was born and is from. And he calls him not Rumi, but Balkhi. So the Afghans like to know him as Balkhi. The Iranians call him Rumi. But they agree that he was born in that one place in the Persian Empire. And I was born in Kabul, Afghanistan, actually. Lived there for a number of years when I was little, and then we immigrated here in 2002. So I'm glad my Afghan brother is here. Okay, so without any delays, here is the poem. And I will do, so it's short enough, I'll do the Persian first, and then the English right after. 4 lines. Okay. بیت و غزل و شعر مرا آب ببرد. May the water carry my verses, lyrics, and poem. رخته که نداشتیم سیلاب ببرد. May the floods carry all the clothes that we did not own. نیک و بد زهد و پارسایی را. Good, bad, piety, and asceticism. مهتاب بداد و باز مهتاب ببرد. These things the moon gave us, and again the moon will take.
That was beautiful. I don't think we've had Persian before, so this is really great. What is the moon in Persian? What is the word?
Mahtab.
Mahtab.
Mahtab or ma.
Mahtab. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. That was beautiful. Yeah, we have more coming, I think. Persian? Yeah, not yet. Okay, we have our next reader is Willem. Willem Rennet.
Right. Hi, my name is Willem Krumik. Yeah, it's up for Zeina, so if no one else to say. I live in Alexandria. I'm in a group with, an activism group with Zeina, so I thought I would come and both support her. Oh yeah, I'll say what it is, yeah. Yeah. So this is a poem that is not necessarily about the moon, but the moon does make a pretty significant appearance. It's more about a father-son or child relationship. Yeah, here we go. There was a time, a long ago, there was a man, to him was Joe, and though he tried real hard, he could not help or comfort his poor child. There was a time, a long ago, he dreamed of trees swaying in tune and oceans roaring with delight while he sat there dreaming day and night. Until the day, oh dear Lord say, his child did not come home that day, and bullies cleaned their blood-soaked hands and fled in silence from peaceful lands. There was a time, a long ago, there was a man, to him was Joe, but no more. He cannot know or say what drove his mind away. While trees sway softly on ghostly moon, and there the oceans roar in grateful tune.
Thank you, Willem. The organization he was referring to is Grassroots Alexandria. We both volunteer for this local organization here in Alexandria. So thanks. Our next speaker is Miles David Moore, and I believe it's your birthday today?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I'll say, when I get to the, I'll make it the
Well, happy birthday to you.
I did want to mention to Anne Marie, I saw Orion, and he is adorable. You said that. And it's interesting that his birth is connected, at least with this reading series, because, having the theme of birthdays, I am 70 years old today. I'm going to read a couple of poems. This is one which is about the moon, the other is like tangentially about the moon. Okay. This poem is called Full Moon on K Street. The moon has your face tonight, hiding behind black-violet veils of clouds, coy, intimating nothing. Like an orange outside the grasp of a starving child, you stab my heart. All longing is the same. No natural light penetrates this street. The lampposts rule. The high-rises have mothered them from their concrete wombs, bidding us rejoice in coldness, disdaining the celestial tease. The moon has phases. Though I pray not, you might be one. The clouds pull tight, tight around your mouth. And this poem was occasioned, I'm a movie fan, and this poem was occasioned by a quote from John Patrick Shanley's screenplay for Moonstruck, as bright and full of promise as moonlight in a martini. And the title of this poem is Drink Up. Heaven is yours inside us, a tall stemmed glass, an Eiffel Tower inverted on its tail. A million opportunities may pass. This is the one to grab. This holy grail, this glass of moonlight shining in the dark, bright as a Bombay sapphire. Like the eyes of newfound lovers, its prismatic spark halos the room as if to canonize the speared and tonsured olive. Never mind that maybe you have had this drink before. You threw up, saw pink hippos, staggered blind. The angry barkeep bounced you out the door. Never let on you really wanted beer. This is your chance. Drink up while it's still here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miles. Our next reader is Marty Sanchez-Lowry, who has been serving with me on the literary task force in Alexandria. So welcome.
I'm going to read two poems. The first is in Spanish, and I couldn't come to a reading about the moon without having Federico Garcia Lorca. This poem is completely iconic. It's called The Romance of the Moon. And I'm going to only read it in Spanish because the translation that I found was horrible. And I couldn't have time to change it. But the moon is a person in this poem that comes dressed in a beautiful skirt of tuberose roses and wants to steal a child from the gypsies. Okay? Romance de la luna, luna. La luna vino a la fragua con su polizón de nardos. El niño la mira, mira, el niño la está mirando. El aire conmovido mueve la luna sus brazos y enseña, lúbrica y pura, sus senos de duro estaño. Huye luna, luna, luna. Si vinieran los gitanos, harían con tu corazón collares y anillos blancos. Niño, déjame que baile cuando vengan los gitanos. Te encontrarán sobre el yunque, con los ojillos cerrados. Huye luna, 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 que ya siento sus caballos. Niño, déjame, no pises mi blancor almidonado. El jinete se acercaba, tocando el tambor del llano. Dentro de la fragua el niño tiene los ojos cerrados. Por el olivar venían bronce y sueño los gitanos, las cabezas levantadas y los ojos entornados. Cómo canta la sumaya, ay, cómo canta en el árbol. Por el cielo va la luna con el niño de la mano. Dentro de la fragua lloran, dando gritos los gitanos. El aire vela, vela, el aire la está velando. She gets to take the child, and the gypsies are crying. And this poem, this next one I'm from Bolivia, and the moon is tangential here because there is a beautiful section of La Paz. This is all 3 sections of places near La Paz, the capital of Bolivia. Views from the highest place. 1. The mountain. Constant, the Illimani is never gone. The whole time you are growing wings, the Illimani is in view. While solar flares vaporize Earth to salt moon desert, while Scotch broom blooms in geode crevices, and pink flamingos bathe in neon phosphorus lakes, while rain comes in drenching rivers turning stone to jewel, constant, the Illimani is in view. Above the call of all-tempered weather, you fly around the silver encased in icy silence of that constant Illimani. 2. The lake. White anklets drooping, you search for flowers to make earrings, grasses to blow like the lonely wind, form-giving wind. You see those ancients weaving reeds into forever the same place, the floating island they have guarded like Intihuasi, who first threw in the gold chain into the water, and his agate queen appeared from the mud. Into the water, you watch the foam of speedboats disappear, and balsas stand still as you cross the deep blue. It is ocean to you who don't know ocean, because it is as far as the horizon blue, so deep it is the whole earth. It is your crossing to some vaster unknown. And 3, it's kind of long, isn't it? 3, the valley of the moon. In the valley of the moon, the white stones hold secrets, those you believe you know which you will never know with certainty, in which you believe that which is held there in that white rock. In the world, is the world mapped and future foretold in the candle drippings of a lavish feast, where 15 candles were lit and darkness moved in, 50 fires destroyed that feasting place, and on the fiery wind of destruction the wax dripped for 500 miles. For let's say we believe the future can be told anywhere, in anything. Candles, coffee grounds, tea leaves, stones, cloud formations, ashes on your fancy cigarettes, that you could know, can know, the now ephemeral, not just aching transit through you, conscious breath of you, to the beyond in that valley at dark when the owls come out to screech and the wind whips up. You are made solid stone into that mountain, your secret burnt. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marty. Marty Sanchez-Lowry. And our next speaker, next reader, is Nasreen Nawab. Yes.
I'm not
So
a
nice to
poet.
see you.
Yeah, nice. I am Persian, also, Iranian, and I also had a poetry from Maulana. I read it in Farsi only, and is a short poet that says actually that we get. It's hard to translate, but it's like this is our life is reflection of your face, and then in the end she said Mahtab that I like tonight a long night and moon Mahtab, and that's long night is your hair and the moon is your face. This is the meaning. ای آب حیات قطره از آب رخت وی ماه فلک یک اثر از تاب رخت گفتم که شب دراز خواهم مهتاب آن شب زلف توست و مهتاب رخت. That's it. And also there is a contemporary poet that we lost him, Muhammad Ibrahim Jafari, that and this is talks about how moon is kind and kindly. He generously gives light to life, but I wish this light shows more kindness in the earth. Something like that. بر بلند آسمانی دوردست ماه هر شب مهربانی می کند کاش روزی مهربانی می رسید بر فراز آسمان این زمین در زمستانی پر از برف و سکوت در زمستانی گلالود و پلید چون جرقه آتشم در این امید بر فراز آسمان این زمین کاش روزی مهربانی می رسید.
Getting to the end of the list, is anybody here who would like to read who didn't have a chance to sign up? Okay. Oh, Amy, please come on up. Amy Horwitz. There's no microphone.
Right.
You can just project.
The moon knows your house, for Zeina. The moon knows your house. It is the 12th house, Pisces, the last house in her annual spin around the sun. The moon knows your house, though your birth certificate did not. Palestinian refugees in exile in Syria register their newborns with difficulty, you tell me on our first COVID river walk. And so your Pisces birth was recorded in Aries. But the moon knows your name, and the moon knows your house. Black Afrofuturist writer Octavia Butler knew the moon cycles when she wrote, "God is change," how the moon waxes out of a sliver to her fullness, then wanes, seeking dark cover toward new. The moon knows your house and homes, Beirut, Albany, Fairfax, Alexandria. Just as justice seekers know your homeland, steadfast under every moon phase, Palestine. The moon knows your house, and the moon knows your homeland.
I'm so very touched. Thank you so much, Amy. That was Amy Horowitz. So I'm going to take this opportunity to read one poem. We've had Arabic a couple of times. I'm going to add one more Arabic poem. This is a poem by a Palestinian poet, Mahmoud Darwish, who we've mentioned a couple of times today. And he is basically Palestine's poet laureate, but much bigger than the Alexandria poet. This is like the whole Palestine. And he is very well respected. One day he'll get a Nobel Prize, hopefully, for literature. He was imprisoned many times for his political work, and so there are many, many political prisoners across the world. And so I wanted to choose this poem because I want to give them my respect. This is a very short poem called Prison. The address of my house has changed, and the time when I eat. Changed, too, the amount of my tobacco, the color of my clothes, my face, the look of me. Even the moon, so dear to me here, has become larger, more beautiful. The smell of the earth, perfume, and the taste of nature, sugar. It is as though I am on the roof of my old house, and a new star has riveted itself upon my eye. Thank you. I actually read this poem last year, but I really wanted to read it again here. السجن تغير عنوان بيتي وموعد أكلي ومقدار تبغي تغير ولون ثيابي ووجهي وشكلي وحتى القمر عزيز علي هنا صار أحلى وأكبر ورائحة الأرض عطر وطعم الطبيعة سكر كأني على سطح بيتي القديم ونجم جديد بعيني تسمر. Thank you all for being here today, for sharing your poetic gifts, for sharing your language, the cultural heritage, from whether you came from it or from places that you admire. Thank you for listening. Thank you for reading. And I thank you again to Burke Branch Library and the Burke Branch Friends for hosting us and organizing us here today. Thank you, Nathan, for doing the videography. And thank you all.
Shukran.